Hi Flosstube, this is Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter. If the sound is picking up really well, you can probably hear my kids playing in the background. They are being a little noisy, but that's okay. It's been quite a while since my last video. It started out kind of on purpose because I was working on like only one project and I didn't have a whole lot to show, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, and life update things happened and stitchy bug problems happened, but anyway, here I am, and this should be a probably pretty brief update. I still don't have like a whole lot to show, but you know, I'd like to get back into the habit of regular Flosstube updates, so here we are. I had a finish as of my last update. Well, it was already an FO, it was already a finish, and I FFO'd it. My kids are really being loud. It was the piece that I designed and stitched for my grandma, and she has stage 4 metastatic cancer, and I think that they have verified that it was breast cancer that had returned. She is still with us. We're getting regular updates from my aunt, who is taking care of her, and just slowly declining. She still has a great sense of humor. She went out to eat with some of my aunts and uncles and cousins, yeah, and at some point the conversation had turned to making butter, and she said, as her hands were shaking, "If you just give the cream to me, it'll be butter in no time," because that's our family, we like to joke. But anyway, the piece that I stitched for her side by side, I did frame that, and I was able to go up to Idaho and give that to her in person. And here's a picture of what it looked like framed. I'm gonna go ahead and hold it up here because there's really bad glare, so I want to show it clearly. Just a very simple black frame. And she was very touched and happy to receive that. So that was my FFO. Let's see. For quite a while, I was stitching almost monogamously. Nope, not almost. I was stitching monogamously on this next piece. This is the Ink Circle's Mysterious Adventure project. It was the SAL for last year. And so last time I showed this, I had the outside border probably about halfway done. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. It looked so very different than it does now. I had the words fail me sometimes. The coastline. There we go. I had the coastline, I had the compass rose, and I had the title block. And I've got a whole lot more than that now. Da, 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 da. So I'm hoping that this whole thing is in frame. Anyway, I'll kind of drift up and down. So I did a lot of work in the water. They are having fun down there. It sounds like they're killing each other, but they're actually having fun, I promise. So I got too much to just like talk about individually. Okay, I've got the north wind blowing cold air into onto the land. I've got some buoys, and the flags have meaning behind them. I don't remember what they are. I think they're my initials. It's been a while since I stitched them. Flying fish and whale and the lighthouse. I've got a little island here with a tiny boat, my sea monster family, some other boats, another island, a mermaid, the narwhals, the anchor, the ship. Down here there's another boat, and my pelican and ducks, and then this little guy. Let me get a better, clear picture of this. I was looking at like antique treasure map kind of things on Google, and a couple of them had giant giant octopi. And I was like, well, that's it, I have to put an octopus in my map. And so I designed and shared this little pattern on the Facebook group. And several other people were like, oh my gosh, I have to add that to my map somehow. And I was like, oh, that's fun. But so that's my giant octopus. And that's all that I put in the water so far. I still have other things that I want to throw in. I'm going to put like some dragons on hot air balloons and stuff. Those are in the dry pack, so the motifs for the land. And then just like a whole bunch of little water waves that, you know, just these little, she calls them sprinkles, to add. Once I have all the motifs I want, then I'll just go and fill in little bits. As far as the land, I added this island. No, lake. We're inland now. So this is a lake. I added a lake and a covered bridge. I sometimes point with my middle finger because it's the longest, and then somebody during one of my videos paused, and it looked like I was giving the finger, so I'm trying not to point with my right hand or with my middle finger when I think of that. So we'll see. Anyway, there we go. A covered bridge. Actually, the covered bridge in the pattern was like oriented the other way, and so I had to use my designing software to flip it around, and that was fun. So yeah, and I have started my castle. Just one color, and it's mostly just the outline. So once again, here is, hopefully you can see, the entirety of my piece. And so basically, like I said, I was working on that monogamously until I finally just kind of mapped myself out, and I was just like, okay, I think I'm done with that one for a while. It's a lot. But I made, like I said, a lot of progress on that one. Let's see. What else? My husband, for my birthday, because yeah, my birthday was in November, he gave me this book, and it's got, it's gonna glare, so I have to hold it up so we can see it without the glare. Cross-stitched cards for special occasions. Cute stuff in here. Probably not going to do a flip through, but I wanted to show one thing that I worked on. Hopefully you can see this. All right. No, I have to get up. I don't trust that that will show. Okay. Easter egg hunt. It's these, there we go. Really cute eggs, and I want to do all of them, so I cut out a bunch of different, well, yeah, a bunch of pieces of Ada and stitched the first one. I started on the purple part and then put it away for like a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And then yesterday I pulled this out and finished it up, and it turned out really cute, and I'm excited to do the rest. there's that. That was loud. Let's see. My husband's birthday was in December, and I decided to do a cross-stitch piece for him for that. He's really into Star Wars, the original. He doesn't care for the new ones, but yeah, episodes 4, 5, and 6, those are his favorites. And I thought, dust on there. Okay. I thought that he would enjoy a cross-stitch piece that featured the Death Star. So I'm up and down a lot for this. Okay. Lot of glare. I love you to the Death Star and back. Kind of hard to show the whole thing. Let's see. Hello. That's me. That's my glare. I love you to the Death Star and back. This was a fun stitch. I will link below the Etsy shop where I got it, and the link to the pattern for anyone who is interested. Anyway, it was super cute, super fun. He really liked it, likes it. It sits on our mantle for now. At first he had it hanging in our room, but we never spend time there except to sleep, and so he put it out on the fireplace mantle so that he could see it. Okay. The last piece I have been working on is Plum Street Sampler's American Sampler. And this I've actually got quite a lot of progress on. So here's where it's at. Since the last time I showed it, I finished the main house. I think I wasn't even done laying the masonry for the brickwork yet. So I filled in all the bricks down here, put in the lamps, the door, all the windows, the chimneys. I did the little side building. I added a bunch of grass. And I outlined these flowers finally with backstitch. They were just blending in way too much with the fabric, and I couldn't see them, and I don't like to stitch something that I can't even see. So I outlined them, and I put leaves in the tree. I also did a little bit of outlining on the people, just around her hat and wrap, and around his legs, and his, the front part that goes down there, so that would be visible as well. So yeah, lots of progress made on this one. And this is what I've been working on lately for the past few weeks. When I do get anything out and stitch, it's usually been this one. Okay, that is all the stitching I have. And if that's all you're here for, then thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time. If you want to stick around for a little bit of life update things, then you're in the right place. Alright, so like I mentioned, I was gonna do an update sooner once I stitched on more than just one project, and then I kind of lost my stitchy book for a while, and reasons for that. Shortly after my last update video, I got a phone call from my mom saying that my grandpa, so this is my maternal grandfather, was not doing so well. Apparently he had been suffering for a few years with dementia, and I wasn't aware of that fact because my mom's family is not super communicative. But he passed away a couple days after that phone call. Not a huge shock or anything. He was definitely the age where it's normal for a person to pass away. But, still just really sad that he's not here anymore. So anyway, we went up to Idaho for his funeral, and that's when I was able to go visit my dad's mom, my grandma, who has cancer. And so it was bittersweet. It's always hard to say goodbye to somebody that you love. But I was able to see family and see my grandma, and and it's nice that he's not suffering anymore. A week after we got back from the funeral, this one hurts. My husband's mom passed away, and this one was a little bit more of a surprise. She had had cancer, and over last summer she was going through chemotherapy, and it was working. Her tumors were shrinking, scans were improving. She was doing really well. She went in for surgery to remove stuff from her abdomen, just clean it all out. It was cancer in her abdomen, and just the surgery just to get rid of stuff that didn't belong there, and she was recovering from the surgery, and then a little while after that we're not sure exactly what. Could have been a heart attack or a stroke or a pulmonary embolism, but something happened and she died. Anyway, we weren't all able to go to California for her funeral. It's a really long drive. We don't do planes because my husband has a kind of a phobia of flying, and the cost would have been prohibitive anyway. So my husband went down to California, spent Thanksgiving with his family, and went to the funeral and helped with that, while the kids and I went up to my sister's house in Idaho. They're only like a couple hours away instead of 10 to 12 hours if we had gone to California. So that's why I didn't do a lot of stitching. That kind of threw me into a pretty major depressive episode. Just losing my grandpa and my mother-in-law. And then we had the holidays, and that was, holidays after losing loved ones. It is what it is. The kids enjoyed themselves. That's good enough. So since then I took a break from stitching, and then I've kind of slowly been getting back into it. I'm not stitching every day, but finding a bit of comfort in picking it up every once in a while and working on it. So that was the sad news. I did have some more cheerful life update stuff. In November, I auditioned for a choir that will be performing an Easter oratorio about the last week of in the life of Christ. And I auditioned, I made callbacks, and then I was cast in the choir. So I've been doing rehearsals every Saturday since the beginning of January, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I don't normally focus so much on, when I'm singing, on how it all works and stuff, but the director is very knowledgeable about music. She's incredibly talented and is able to draw effort and sounds out of us that it's amazing. If anyone of my viewers has ever been involved in like a really good quality choir, it's really an interesting experience, and choir rehearsals are kind of the highlight of my week at this point. So yeah, it's kind of funny. They didn't have enough men audition, like enough tenors, and so there are 5 of us women who were cast as tenors, so I get to sing down low. I'm exploring the lower range of my voice, and it's a lot of fun. Let's see. That's about it. I'm sure that there's stuff from the past 3 months that I've forgotten, that I'm missing. There might even be cross-stitch that I did that I don't remember, but if there was, it was only like a day of working on it, and I don't remember. Anyway, I think that just about wraps it up. I will, now that I am stitching again, I'll try to start doing updates regularly. I'm not going to promise once a week. I would never have anything to show. I'd be like, I worked on this one piece this week. So I can't promise any super frequent, regular consistency or anything, but I will try to get back into updating more than every few months. And everybody have a great week and happy stitching. Bye.